Hi there, and welcome to Apple World. Kendrick Lamar dislikes us. The walls are surrounding Drake after a few serious charges have been tossed around, the principal being that he's purportedly been screwing with diggers previously. Does this spell almost certain doom for Drake's profession? And is he going to get secured in view of it? Make certain to keep close by till the end for all relevant information. Following a couple of long periods of being the joke of the rap world, Drake answered Kendrick Lamar's monstrous diss track, Meet the Gramps and the banger Dislike Us, with another tune named The Heart Section 6, albeit the title alone H, that Kendrick was assuming control over Drake's Am series. Drake's return and assuming control over his Heart series was splendid. When you pay attention to the full tune, this is more or less phenomenal anyway, when you pause for a minute to consider what Drake was. Talking about it becomes obvious that without precedent for this meet, one of these titans basically came up short, as when you take a gander at the actual track. It's very guarded and has a few sketchy verses like this. Epstein's point was that I expected TikTok recordings you gathered and analyzed them as opposed to being on some discrepancy. You would rather get your pen and mislead, assuming that I was a little kid. I guarantee I'd have been captured. I'm excessively renowned for this. You just recommended it exclusively with Whitney, not Millie Bobby Brown's. I'd never taken a second look at No Teen, and you can see the reason why fans saw these verses. They were left stunned as to why he was raising Millie Bobby Brown in any case, as Kendrick never referenced her in any of his tracks, and this point was more pushed at the reality that Drake permits impact enders to remain and reside in his home, not that he's a genuine hunter himself. A moment fans have been referring to was when Millie Bobby Brown was in a meeting herself and talked about her relationship with Drake and how she couldn't talk on their instant messages. Everything about your relationship with Drake says something to me about your kinship. How did this all come about? I love him. I met him in Australia. And, he's really not really good or bad, fabulous. And an extraordinary companion. And an extraordinary, incredible, good example. You know, we just messaged each other recently and he seemed to miss you so much. I feel like I miss you more. He's coming to Atlanta, so I'm certainly going to take a brief trip and see him. I'm so energized. Definitely, 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 definitely. Counsel with young men, you realize that it stays in the instant messages. It is a bit odd on the off chance that Drake was offering her guidance to young men considering their enormous age distinction, and the reality she expressed that staying in the instant messages doesn't precisely improve matters. This got everybody discussing various posts where they left expressing things like, Drake generally messes with me a smidgen, and this isn't helping Drake the kind of fellow to offer guidance to a 15-year-old about young men. No doubt okay, pal. The consummation is wild. Drake isn't getting away from the charges with stuff like this. Individuals have been going around fooling Drake after Kendrick said that Drake was concealing a girl on Meet the Gramps, and that he and Uvo are entering the positions of individuals like Dan Schneider and Diddy. They have presented the crazy bars that Kendrick dropped on his last couple of tracks. Drake has answered the assault endeavoring to deny these intense allegations and put the fault decisively on Kendrick anyway, in spite of what you could think from his melodious exhibition here, which includes a threatening thump with A.A. Franklin tested in it, and straight rapping all he prevailed with regards to doing was exacerbating himself than he previously was, albeit the initial. Not many bars of this melody are very great and lay the foundation for Drake to cause some harm. He guarantees that he and his group set Kendrick up by fooling him into thinking he had a 11-year-old girl that he was concealing to make Lamar look totally ludicrous during this asserted gotcha second, and keeping in mind that this would totally impact the manner in which we take a gander at the proof, and all that we know that far has neither rhyme nor reason above all else. Doctors guaranteed that Kendrick gets his accounts from jokesters, which he then, at that point, goes against himself later to say that he and his group gave him is simply silly. In addition, Drake's rash reaction to Kendrick's disclosure that he had a little girl was to post an entertaining Instagram tale about it. Assuming that it were a fact that Kendrick was set up, Drake would either have the receipts to show or would in a flash discuss it on his next track. Drake never needs to stress over losing his fan base, in light of the fact that for however long there's kin with rocks for cerebrums, he'll continuously have fans. Like, there are truly individuals at home, like that are lounging around, standing by, listening to the Heart Section 6 right now at this very moment, and it's only entertaining to envision since that his tune is awful. Similar to, it's an awful tune. It's a horrendous Drake tune. And there are individuals that truly think like he smoked Kendrick. CK with that, like they're similar to the Heart Section 6 who like he truly got him, like Drake won, In the court of general assessment, Drake won nothing. Before we go any further into the video, what are your folks' legitimate contemplations on this hamburger among Drake and Kendrick Lamar, who is as of now winning? And will there be more diss tracks to come out? Remark down underneath days after Drake was known as a confirmed pedophile by Kendrick Lamar, and his mic dropped this diss like us. A lady from a formerly erased video is coming to address the record. The video flowing on the web is from a 2010 Drake execution in Colorado. The young lady is welcomed in front of an audience by the then 23-year-old rapper, who gives her a neck kiss while they dance, then stops himself and proclaims that you all will make them get out of hand again. I get into issues for doing things like this. She answers that she is 17 when he asks. Her age, Jayed, gives further foundation on the night. In an extensive proclamation, she says it's normal for performers to be picked by Drake's team, reviewing the way that her dad took her to the occasion. I was 17 in those days, and I'm 31. Now she composes, this was a show that my father took me to move in secondary school. Drake's company truly selected me from the horde of individuals, not Drake himself. It was nothing. Then yet nothing. Now obviously, when Rick Ross caught wind of this, he rushed to bounce on his Instagram story and went off big time on Drake and banished him from his future vehicle occasions for the security of the kids. I simply need to make this unmistakable white kid. They said you said assuming that you was youngsters. You promised you would have been captured. Whoever composed that for you ought to have placed more thought into that white kid. It's your scholars anything that message you meant him? That wasn't how they should do that. And as an essayist, when it come to pedophilia, you got to eliminate yourself from that white kid. That wasn't the line, not too far off. Listen, we getting Drake far from the vehicle show. 'Cause the children are welcome. No one with that foundation will be permitted on the guaranteed land premises. About 30 minutes prior, it was expressed that strict shots were discharged beyond Drake's home when famous hip jump figure DJ Acad MX posted taking shots at Drake's home 2 a.m. Toward the beginning of today, nearby Toronto media sources covering it, more subtleties are set to unfurl before very long. However, it's most probable an irregular individual searching for some consideration or a devoted Kendrick fan. Subscribe Apple World for more videos.